Alright. Now, I think that's everything. Ah, yeah, the scoreboard. Of course, it's not everything. So, we need the challenger to be Kirby. And we're starting with Snake, so he's at 4 lives. And the boss is Snake. Right, Snake? Yes, Snake. And it would also help if those were visible. Alright. Now I think that's everything. If it isn't, we will figure it out as we go. Let's get going with stage 1. Kerper versus Snake. It's been a while since I've been this, but a refresher on the rules. For this match, they have to choose between 3 decks. Snake has chosen Lizard, Skunk, Fox, Machine Gun, and Kerper has chosen Squirrel, Skunk, Owl, Mine. The other one is Toad, Cam, Badger, Balloon, but that doesn't come into it yet. Might do if we go to game 2. Now, I think the only other thing is Mills. Campfires are supposed to be set to plentiful. And there's 4 of them, so that's plausible. You don't often seem to get that many campfires, even if you try and crank the numbers up. But a tricky map for Kerper. He wants to expand out here, where Snake is expanding, but this campfire is going to be shooting his units as he tries to build there. Actually, no, because he can just come around this way, which I've just noticed. Maybe Snake has not, because I mean, it's not infeasible that he's just going for a contain anyway with machine guns, but I don't know why he's building lizards. This is a very odd choice. The lizards are not good at containing because they can't really hold a position. Do I want Kipper as a co-caster? Sure. So yeah, I imagine Snake isn't going to win this because this is what I mean, he's put himself behind on tempo by putting the mill down first. And the Warrens being so far forward means that there's not a lot of time for the lizards to build. I mean, the machine gun goes up and some units are getting stuck fighting this mill, so he's actually going alright. Still a very peculiar play by Snake, but he's got his position now. He's even an army. Now he can actually start holding, and Kerper is at some point going to have to put down 60 food into an expansion. He's got about 2 minutes, 3 minutes left before he starts starving. That is quite a lot of time in this game. He's trying to move forward with the mines. Snake should really be taking this fight. 12 lizards should destroy 12 squirrels. And indeed, they do. It starts off looking like it's even, but you get a lot of lizards staying alive at like 2 HP when the squirrels die, and then suddenly it's not so even anymore. Machine gun in the front line is also going to help a lot, because now it means that he's got some ranged options. The one big advantage the squirrels have over the lizards is their range. Unfortunately, Snake wasn't protecting it as he was going back. His Snake just going to bring his lizards in. He's not going to win a base race, but I mean, he is going to destroy this mill if he focuses it. And that puts Kerper into starvation. Now, Kerper did get this one. If Snake had done that slightly earlier, he would be way ahead. But Snake still has 8 farms. He will do for long enough. So he should just take a trade now and force Kerper to start selling. Like, just jump onto these squirrels. Oh, he's going for the warrens. It's not awful. He shouldn't go for the mill. I mean, okay. He's not going. He's just going for the farms. It's basically the same. Now going for the mill. Still, like, going for the mill like this is the only way Kerper could possibly come back, because it means that Snake is just throwing away units for free. You probably want to kill this campfire. Where are you going? What is he doing? Why has he just abandoned this position? He has the bigger army. What the hell is Snake doing? Why? Why did you do that? Does anyone know what the plan was there? Like, he's acting like he was worried about a counterattack, but he had a bigger army and he just abandoned all of his warrens. And now the armies are actually in Kerper's favour, with the eco going to start swinging his way as well. Look, we'll get to all of my misplays eventually. And there are some serious misplays, but I'm very confused by... And he's going for the mill again! Like, he could have just left with his lizards. Instead he tried to burst down a half-health mill while he was standing in range of all the squirrels. Now the eco is actually even. He needs to start taking some campfires or another mill. I don't know why he abandoned this forward position. I'm still banging on about it because it's still baffling to me. Kerper is known as the luckiest Tooth and Tail player. And part of that is everyone seems to play badly against Kerper. Everyone misplays against him. Okay, but Snake coming in now, picking off these warrens. Kerper does still have the bigger army. And now he's got the bigger eco. He doesn't really need these warrens because he can just stay on this mill and not lose any squirrels. The warrens... Okay, Kippo can't code-cast. Alright. I think Kerper's making a dangerous play here. He just needs to hang back. He might not know that he's actually ahead now. This campfire is kind of precarious. You'd at least want a couple of mines down to help protect that, because it's the lizards can basically jump in and kill that before the squirrels can move over to protect it. But Snake is obsessed with getting this base race, when really he could have just won the fight after he got that first mill. He knocked Kerper into starvation, and now Kerper is 3 farms ahead. Like, there's not... That's pretty bad. And Snake is so obsessed with this mill that he just completely bypasses the free campfire he'd be able to pick off. He comes in, he gets a farm, but loses 4 lizards, so it's not really worth it. Could have picked off those... Is he going to pick off these squirrel warrens? He is. It's not hugely important, but it is free value. And he's going the wrong way here. He needs to run around. He needs to take the long path. Well, this is going to be quite a comeback. Snake is still trying to find a way in, but maybe he wins. He's not going to win this fight. And he's losing a lot of lizards. And now he can't really reinforce. Now Kerper can just push forward. Straight onto the mill. The lizards don't have time to rebuild. Maybe they do, since Kerper went for the mill rather than the pigs. But still, Snake is completely supply blocked. The pigs are helping out as much as they can, but the squirrels are too far out of range. Snake needs to be selling some warrens. He needs to go sell a warren, maybe two. He's not doing any of that. He's so far behind on eco though now. Is he going to surrender? Man, that was... Okay, the 4:10 mark is when Snake got the mill. You can see then that his army goes all the way down. But that's because he was sacrificing units to get the mill. Then it goes all the way back up because he had a full eco. But then it just drops again. Because he completely abandons his advantageous position. But Kerper gets through. Now, let's follow him through to stage 2. Hello, guys. Alright. So stage 2 is 9 units with Toad's band. I believe it's also supposed to be played on a large map, which this doesn't look like, but I could be misremembering. Let me check. Yep, no map specialties. Okay, so we got squirrel, lizard, ferret, snake, badger, owl, wolf, machine gun, balloon against squirrel, lizard, pigeon, falcon, skunk, snake, badger, wolf, wire. Since both players are going badger, wolf, I don't think the owl for kid really matters. Yeah, I'm definitely large map, and I've been doing that. Just played my games before this. Played a game just before the stream. A lot of my games, well, I won't spoil it, but let's just say I was disappointed with them. Okay, so is Kid going to take this mill and try and get some... Oh, shit. Shit, I can't even read that. Ah, Ben Dove. Welcome to the Warrens. Hope you enjoy your stay. I still haven't got that emotes, still the notification emote sorted out. Or regular emotes. Yeah, none of them got mines. I don't really know if you'd want mines, but I mean, this will be a decent map for it. There's all of these choke points that you could mine up pretty effectively. I think Kid should be fine if he just takes this mill and gets a balloon up somewhere around here to give him high ground vision. Then he'll probably go with ferrets and start shooting up from the low ground. And Kerper will have a really hard time pushing through. This is an odd choice by Kid to run in with 9 lizards into warrens. I don't really think that was his best option. Lizards aren't too great at fighting on warrens, and they're not great at fighting armies that are bigger than them. To be fair, most units are not. Okay, so now Kerper's able to push and get some counter damage, picks off a forward warren. What is Kid selling down for? He's already behind an army. A machine gun. Okay. This doesn't stop Kerb from just walking up around this way. Although I guess this machine gun on the left will be able to hit his units as he does. It looked like Kid is trying to go for some lizard shenanigans as Kerper goes round, but he's actually blocked off the pathway that his lizards would be taking, so they have to run around this way anyway. And now he's in a base race with 2 lizards against 7, with half a dozen squirrels backing them up. That isn't something you see often, but it is something you've got to keep in mind, is the actual squares. You can't walk through structures the same way you can walk through warrens. Kerper. See, Kerper has this special ability to make his opponents misplay terribly. Like, he reached into the kid's head and made him attack with his outnumbered army into a defensive position, and then made him block off his own reinforcement path. It's the power of the Capope. Right. I forgot to update the boss name, but it doesn't matter at the moment. Kerper's still on 4 lives. We are going over to Lilith. Okay, so we got Lizard, Skunk, Fox, Machine Gun from Snake, and Squirrel, Skunk, Owl, Mine from Lilith. Now Lilith is a pretty strong player, despite her noobiness, so this should be interesting. Okay. An aggressive mill from Lilith. What? Oh no, wait, that's her. No, that's not an aggressive mill. That's a complete opposite of an aggressive mill. That's an aggressive mill. So Snake looks like he's going for the contain again. Now, the contain part of his plan worked against Kerper. He just got completely, like, narrow-sighted. He got so focused on going for the base race that he didn't realise he didn't need to. Like, he could have just held his position and starved Kerper out at that point. Hello, Draco. Not much at the moment. Just played the Kerper games. Playing through some others now. Going through Lilith's. See that you're doing an episode later. I assume some of my games will be on there, which will be very embarrassing. It's not been a great tournament for me. I'm currently sitting at the lowest win rate of all the bosses by quite a large margin. But in all fairness, my games are the most luck based. Alright, so Snake picking off a couple of campfires. Has got Lilith somewhat boxed in, but Lilith has this second mill to go through. 4. Yeah. So this contain doesn't do much, but it does give Snake all of these mills. The problem for Snake is Snake sort of deliberately doesn't have a good answer to Owl. Ooh, walking into all those mines. Might be able to carry the fight just through raw lizard strength. Plus, having 6 extra units didn't hurt. Lilith does lose a farm, but she's able to eco right back up, so she should be doing fine. Well, us having the decks are chosen randomly and the numbers of units we got are chosen randomly. So with the decks being mirror matched, it is there's kind of hard for me to have any input in it. Like, I can't get better at rolling dice than they can. And it's an element of... It means map gen matters a lot, is what I'm finding, because you've got the same decks. And it's not something you can really plan for or around. Which means it's always kind of a toss-up who's going to take the win. Like, there's nothing I can really do from my point of view to get better at playing random decks with random numbers of units. Okay, Snape really holding in. Lilith looks like she wants to expand down to these mills. I mean, if she starts pumping out these owls, she's already got 2 cooking and a 3rd on the way. She should be able to break through this pretty nicely, as Snake has only got 1 skunk warren and is trying to go up on a fox anyway. What do you do if you're Snake here? You definitely, I think, sell the fox, sell some lizards, pump out extra eco and extra skunks. Well, I found that there are some unit compositions where, I don't know, it's tough to explain without giving spoilers away. Okay, fox goes. I think the fox needed to be sold. I don't think Snake is going to be able to hold on with just 2 skunks. It looks like he wants to go for a base race, but this water's really slowing him down. Plus, the mice will be able to catch up to the lizards fairly well. He's just staying in the water earth for the moment, which is letting these mice run absolutely rampant. Lilith is playing this smart. She knows that she doesn't actually have to do anything at this point. She's got huge amounts of value over here. The mice are even still going. And here comes a second wave that have followed the lizards through the water. Yeah, he needed to eco up way earlier. He knew that he was against the owls. He needed to go for skunks sooner. The fox you might as well just not go for in this matchup. But easy to talk from here. Okay, so Lilith moves through to stage 2. I'm going to remember to update the boss info this time. I don't believe there's a space in between the and kid. am going to capitalise it because it feels weird to not. Okay. So, it looks like this is the kid's chosen deck. Squirrel, Lizard, Ferret, Snake, Badger, Owl, Wolf, Machine Gun, Balloon. It was the same deck he was running against Kerper. Lilith, Squirrel, Lizard, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Snake, Owl, Wire, Balloon. So he should have a stronger mid-game with Falcon, Skunk, Snake against just a Ferret, Snake from the kid. But in the late game, she will get completely overrun by Badger. Especially Wolf buff Badger. With only Owl. Go Wolf first no matter what. The moles and or cams have synergy with owls. Definitely not moles. Not really chameleons either, because the mice and the cams fight for space as they're both melee units. I guess cams are pretty good at picking off skunks. But I mean they all die to Badger anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't say that there's really particularly synergy there. One base L plus mole all in. Well, I mean, one base all in with just mole used to be a thing. It was the moles that really like made that a thing, not the synergy between them. At least if I'm remembering correctly. 2017 is actually quite a while back. Wait, that would have been single moles, wouldn't it? Maybe back then there was something. Since you were getting free units with the owls, so you'd want to just be putting down the moles, you know, just so you were spending your food on something. And I guess it freed up the mice to attack the units instead, when warren tanking, meal tanking and defensive structures would be one of the ways you could mitigate the mice power spike. But in this day and age, I really don't think moles and cams have any particular value to an owl. Like, if you're going for a set of cams, you can get out an extra owl with that money and time. That is probably just going to serve you better. Okay, kid just going in with his lizards. He doesn't rally his squirrels in. I think that's probably a miss micro on his part rather than a deliberate design choice. He is going to pick off a farm. He's actually won. So maybe it was a deliberate choice to hold back, but to hold back his squirrels in reserve. He's decided to let off the pressure. I think that's fair. There were very close reinforcements for Lilith, whereas his had a long way to come, so he was at risk of overextending, especially since he's trying to go for this forward contain. He's getting quite far behind in economy, though, putting down all these machine guns. And again, he sends his lizards in first and then calls up his squirrels, so I guess this is a deliberate strategy for him. He does pick off another farm. He's having to retreat to get behind these machine guns. I don't know if he's got enough even with the machine guns to hold. It looks like he doesn't. Like, the eco for Lilith is really starting to pay for itself now. Plus the reinforcement distance is not something you can really underestimate. Like, there's just so far for kids units to come. Like, some of them are coming from all the way back here. I don't know Lilith. She just turned up one day, but she's pretty good at it. I'm saying she, just because Lilith is a female name. I don't actually know if it's a she. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it was an Amari Smurf, but I don't think it is. Imari didn't like playing competitive, so she wouldn't have joined this tournament, I don't think. Plus, Lilith is good, but Imari was better. Lilith will probably get there. I mean, she's still pretty new. Imari has a year or two of experience. Okay, Lilith is pushing in now with the squirrel and is just going to completely run over the kid. The kid was never able to expand. He was kind of all in on one base, but he spent a lot of that money on the machine guns, which couldn't really contribute. So effectively, he was just down 240 food constantly, which meant Lilith was able to eco up so effectively. And Lilith gets through to stage 3 without losing any lives. Now we got one more stage 1 game. Is this the last person to fight Snake? There can't be that many left. Is Goris, actually. Trashmaster, Haywoods, and Hezzy. Still haven't seen their games. Who are all the bosses? It's Snake, the Kid, Raton, Epicosity, myself, Meek, and Melvin. Okay, here we go. So the other 3 are about to get DQ'd, so this might be the last. Well, I guess Goris will be the last one, since I know he's still playing. So we got Lizard, Skunk, Fox, Machine Gun against Squirrel, Skunk, Owl, Mine. Snake keeps going for the Lizard and Machine Gun, and all of his opponents have gone for the Owl. Now Snake keeps on trying to get this Machine Gun proxy mill strat going. Let's see if he does it again. I think you should always sign up for the gents tourneys. They're very beginner friendly. You don't need to worry about the skill level of your opponents too much, because the rules are kind of built around equalizing that as much as possible. Like, you might be better at 6v6 regular tooth and tail, but are you going to be better at this specific matchup with these specific decks? Maybe not. We've seen some underperformances by some good players because they're just not used to the weirdness. Okay, so Ninja Mill for Snake. There is a massive storm going on outside, which I don't know if you can hear. Sassy hasn't spotted this mill, and Snake is hiding it with this mill. I always tell people to do that. Hide a ninja mill with a obvious mill. Because you want your opponent, you don't want your opponent to think that they're ahead of you, because that will prompt them to push, and you don't want them to think that they're behind, because then they'll go looking for the extra mill. What you want is for them to think that they're even. And Snake is managing to do that pretty effectively. A mill, one farm on it, plus all this tier 1 war, and it's completely believable from Sassy's point of view that that's just all of Snake's food at the moment. Particularly since he hasn't seen back here, so there might be a tier 3 or something. And there is now. Now that said, Snake isn't that far ahead on eco. He needs to be getting more. This mill needs to be completely saturated, and this one needs to be on like 4 or 5 farms by now. He should sell the skunk warrens and just put that all into eco. Probably sell the fox as well, to be honest. Now, has he seen this owl? He has. He knows it's coming. So he's probably too late now. He's going for more lizards, and this is... like, Snake has made this mistake every time, I feel like. He tries to lizard his way through the owl, and you can't really do that. Not unless you've got a huge advantage in eco. And, I mean, maybe 6 farms is enough for that to work. He looks like he wants to come in now, and that will be the best time to do it before the owl is built and is able to build up to its full mouse count. Oh, plus Sassy is selling down on squirrels. Okay, here we go. I didn't see when these farms got destroyed. But man, this choke point is... I mean, really helping Sassy's skunks out. The farms come up and start contributing as well. Sassy is supply blocked on his skunks, but... okay, he's able to sell one. He's still got the squirrels coming. He's still got the mice coming out fairly regularly. The pigs die on his expansion. Snake is now still 6 farms ahead on eco. He might be able to keep up the momentum. If he can just pick off this owl, Sassy is microing it as best he can, keeping it safe. More lizards die. Another skunk comes up. It looks like Sassy has been able to hold. And now this is where things can start tipping for Sassy. Now he's lost his mill and all the farms that were on it, so he is running very low on eco. And Snake has been able to rebuild his army, mostly. But it's not a huge difference. The real problem for Sassy is that Snake is so far ahead on eco that Sassy basically just needed to keep attacking there. He needed some counter damage, some momentum. Because it's going to be really hard for Sassy to try and come back from this, even with the owl. Now the eco advantage is large enough that Snake probably can just lizard his way through. Looks like he wants to go for a base race. He's just leaving his lizards to be shot at. That's one lizard. Okay. Only one lizard dies. If you run into the mines again, Sassy holding at a choke point, but the owl takes a lot of damage very early. Now, that might have been intentional. You want the owl to be doing some tanking. And it does mean most of his squirrels stay alive. And now Sassy is attacking. He needs to go. He needs to get some damage done before Snake has time to rebuild. But he can't overextend either, because if he loses this owl here, a lot of his units are very low on health. I think now he needs to pull back. I think it's been long enough that Snake has too many lizards up. And he also needs to be watching for the base race. Now, it's unfortunate for Sassy that he hasn't been able to get a scout off. He never found out about this base, but he hasn't even been able to see how much is over here. Okay, this is good for Sassy. He needs to not make that owl go too far ahead. But Sassy is able to pick off a lot of tier 1 there. And now getting some skunks, but Snake is going for the base race. Sassy is going to have to come back. There's plenty of lizards here. There's more than enough to do it. Okay, Sassy is going to lose that base. Is Snake going to start picking off some Warrens or just leave? He's just going to leave. If your opponent is on this low eco, picking off the Warrens is really advantageous because, as you see there, Sassy wants to be selling them so he can, you know, resupply. He kind of needs to. Oh, what is Sassy doing? Why is he moving his army here? The lizard's just going to come in around here and win now. Okay, Sassy burrows back. Realises his mistake. And Sassy, due to the nature of this competition, doesn't have to worry about other units coming around. Gets a great engagement here. Manages to pick off all of Snake's lizards. And now the ecos are finally even. Snake hasn't managed to use this eco advantage to actually kill Sassy. And now, with this level of eco, the Owls should just be able to carry the game. Snake can really build up one more dangerous lizard army. At this point, I think you just sell the skunks. Go all in on a base race, or at least delaying your opponent. So you'd like sell the skunks, eco up as hard as you could, and just run your lizards around back and forth, keeping in your opponent's sight line, just threatening to attack if he ever moved out. Which Sassy is doing. But, I mean, Snake definitely could have got for the mill there. I don't think he knew that his opponent has just left. He picks off the Warrens, but he picks off the Owl Warren, which is the kind of the worst one to get. Because Sassy is never selling that Owl Warren unless he loses the Owl, and if he loses the Owl, then he's probably dead anyway. Okay. Sassy now getting extra bases. It's going to make this base race harder. Not impossible. The bases are pretty close together, and two of them are campfires, which go down pretty quick. Case in point. But now Sassy can start building up tier 1, and if he gets equal tier 1, he can just leave some units here and then move on. But where? Oh my god, he's leaving his army exposed. He might be able to get back. He needs to be bringing his units back. Snake has enough lizards to go for the base race. He's going to get right onto this. There are squirrels building right at this campfire, plus the water will slow them down. Maybe... No, Snake is able to get in there. Sassy had... that was kind of a throw. He did all the hard work to make the comeback, and then he just left his base wide open. That is sad. Okay. Sassy loses a life. And actually changes up his deck. Snake is sticking with the lizard deck. Sassy also going with the lizard deck. I don't think he needs to. The Owl deck, I think, has a really significant advantage against the lizard deck, because you can hold perfectly well with squirrels in the early game, and then you just... Squirrels can defend against lizards perfectly well if they just sit on their own base. Sit behind their warrens. Use the defender's advantage. And then you can exploit that to tech up to owls, at which point you have a huge advantage. As we saw last game, like Sassy was able to come back from, I think, starving, or just about, to effectively win the game if he hadn't just microed really sillily. I was a lizard player, I'd always have a huge econ advantage in most maps. Yeah, but you're you. And you are forcing your opponent to try and get that eco advantage, which means maybe you do get an army advantage in the mid or early game, as your opponent is going to have to cut back on army. I think, Gent, I think you saying that you would be able to win with the lizard deck does not preclude the statement that the lizard deck has an unfavourable matchup. Anyway, if you get a map like this where you've got two easy expansions to go for, I think the owl deck is very, very good, because squirrels can hold against here from run-bys like fairly well. Snake could come in around the back, but the campfire will give you a bit of warning. It's hard for him to get down here, and it's not too far between all three of the bases. Mines are key to holding off lizards. Well, they're really good at stopping run-bys. Like, imagine this campfire wasn't here. This would be a really good path for Snake to come in with his lizards. So that means that you can just stick a few mines down here. Even if they don't get that much damage, the fact that they're on the map, on the board, will deter the lizard player from running into any place where there might be mines, because they don't want to walk into a massive minefield and get counterattacked, which, you know, lizards are vulnerable to. But it also means that Sassy would be able to find out about it, like, around here, rather than here, which means he'd have more time to burrow back, move his own units into a good position, stuff like that. The information that mines give you can actually be very helpful against lizards, not just the fact that they can cut off a lot of the narrow pathways that lizards love to use to get around you. That is a lot of thunder. I feel like I'm developing a lisp the more time I spend casting. Don't know why. Anyway, Snake tries to come in with his lizards into a machine gun fortified position. Snake is now doing the exact same thing. Neither of them really works because lizards aren't good at that. Ouch. I think you'd want to tech into some skunks at some point. I try going for... I think you want to go for 4 skunks if you're going to go for any. In a lizard v lizard matchup. But you definitely could do that. I mean, with this machine gun position that Snake has, he can easily sell a Warren, slam down 2 skunks. Nice and simple. Okay, Sassy doesn't want to turtle up too much here, because that just gives Snake the rest of the map. Snake should lose this fight. Sassy had more lizards, plus the machine gun was able to get some damage done. And this means Sassy is going to be able to start pushing onto this mill. He's going straight for the pigs. Okay, Sassy should be able to hold here with his machine guns, but machine guns do leave a pretty open vulnerability here on the left. But still, that's only one farm, and so many reinforcements got killed by this wall of machine guns. That it's probably okay. Plus, Sassy had this mill back here already farming, and he got farms destroyed here, so Sassy is definitely ahead right now. Okay, so are we going to see anyone go for skunks? I don't think you go for the fox ever in this matchup. I mean, maybe if you got to a stage where your opponent had like 6 skunks, you'd go fox and try and snipe them down quickly. But outside of some very niche scenarios, I don't think you ever go for the fox. Maybe the reason I'm developing a weird speech impediment is because I keep trying to talk with bits of plastic in my mouth. And I've got so used to it that now I can't talk properly without the bit of plastic in my mouth. Like, it genuinely does feel easier when I'm chewing on something to talk, which is probably a bad sign. Man, look at that army graph. Sassy is so far ahead. I mean, 240 of that is the machine guns, which honestly he could sell at this point. Okay, now Gent has pointed out that defender's advantage is a thing for lizards because the attacking lizards have to move into position and then shoot, which gives the defending units extra time to shoot them. But still, with this much numbers advantage, Sassy should have this. He should finish off the lizards before going for the mill. Although, the mill goes down so fast that it doesn't really matter. And Sassy gets through. Now, I don't think we had stage 2 games for Sassy, if I remember correctly. Oh, we did. Okay, so let's just change that to kid. What did Sassy do? Was Snake greed? I mean, Sassy just won the fight. He just had early advantages. Snake took a bad engagement, which let Sassy get a good counterattack and get some eco damage, and then Sassy was just able to build off that advantage until he had enough lizards that he could just attack into Snake's defensive position. I mean, Snake definitely wasn't ahead. Snake hadn't been ahead for a while. If ever. Anyway, so Kid is using his same 9-unit deck. Squirrel, Lizard, Ferret, Snake, Badger, Owl, Wolf, Machine Gun, Balloon against squirrel, lizard, pigeon, skunk, snake, badger, wolf, machine gun, balloon. So actually pretty similar decks. Pigeon, skunk for sassy instead of ferret, owl. Honestly, I think I might prefer Sassy's deck. I don't think the owl is actually great in this sort of a deck where it's basically guaranteed your opponent will have multiple tier 3s. Okay, still lizards v lizards. Last few games we've seen Kid come in with lizards and then bring his squirrels in with mixed results. Sassy able to pick off a farm there, nice and simple. Just Kid's army wasn't in the right position. Kid needs to move these lizards just a bit further right. Gotta get them on 4chan. Wearing some MAGA hats. That's a political joke there. Alright, bring the squirrels over. Alright, Sassy does get some damage done in that attack, but has left himself open to a counterattack, which lizards are bad at defending. Now, there's not a huge amount of lizards or units for the Kid to start getting some Warren damage, but I mean, he can really snowball here if he picks off a few Warrens. Okay, Sassy's farms are going to be helping out here as best they can, but another Warren is going to go down. Another one, Sassy down to just 2 Warrens, trying to get up some desperation machine guns. A farm goes down. The Kid is pulling back, not going to overextend. Oh, no, he's just going to move around. Smart play. Machine guns don't actually protect these mills. Warrens, rather. Pick off the machine... whatever. Kid's probably won at this point. Like, Sassy is 1 farm ahead in eco, but that infrastructure damage was just insane. He needs to start moving these machine guns up, because at the moment they're not covering enough. Like, none of these machine guns protect this mill, which he desperately needs to protect, because he's about to start fallowing here. There you go. This is looking pretty bad for Sassy. You can't even go for a base race on this map. There's no alternate route. And he doesn't have enough lizards, really. Oh shit, I'm getting a phone call. Hang on. I mean, you can see what's happening here. Kid's winning. Hello? Just had my family asking if I could come help with the shopping. No, not really. Don't know if they're impressed by my excuse, but I mean, is what it is. Alright, well, kid going for a 4-farm double lizard rush. Oh, I should also need to knock down Sassy's lives. Down to 2. It looks like kid is going to pick off a farm here. Sassy was slow to... Oh! Okay. That was actually smart. With kid not microing his lizards, that wire could have distracted the lizards enough for the pigs to finish off the lizards. But now it looks like kid's just got this. I mean, that's huge amounts of damage done. The wire was just another 20 food casualty. And now Sassy down to just 1 farm. I think this might be GG, which means Sassy is going to go into Daffy with only 1 life. He does get to progress, but kid has taken a hearty chunk of health out of him. Alright. So Sassy down to 1 life. Don't know if we have stage 3 Daffy, stage 3 Sassy at the moment. We do not. Okay, we've done stage 2 Kerpa, so now we go to stage 2 Heartseed. How many lives does he have? All 4. Sitting pretty right now. Okay. Now kid has actually changed up his deck slightly. It's all the same apart from the fact that he's taken Fox instead of Badger. Why has he done that, I wonder? They serve pretty similar functions in this composition. They're basically just the DPS of the, you know, the Owl Wolf. When you're going triple tier 3, you basically want a classic DPS tank support role going on. The Owl is the tank, not just because it's healthy, but because it spawns all those free units, which also have a quite high health pool. The Fox is the DPS, and the Wolf is obviously the support. Badger is usually the DPS, the go-to DPS, but Fox should be able to work fine, especially since Heartseed has gone for Wolf Badger. Maybe this will be a good choice. It depends whether or not the Fox can get its shots off in time. I don't think it will be able to. It's generally easier for a Wolf buffed Badger to chase down a Wolf buffed Fox, because as soon as the Fox pauses to take the shot, the Badger is on top of it at full rev. But looks like we might not get that far, as Heartseed has gone for a early lizard rush. The lizards do all die, so that's 4 lizards for 1 farm, but he did get a couple of squirrels as well, so more like 2 lizards for 1 farm, which is even, slightly favourable. Okay, this is definitely not favourable though. That was 6 lizards for no farms, which is not good. Income is pretty even. Heartseed just needs to get up to his army count, because Kid has gone up to 8 farms now and is threatening a counterattack. Luckily the distance is long enough that Kid is Heartseed's able to rebuild his army. And it looks like he'll get up to 8 farms. He'll be slightly behind, but he has survived losing all his lizards in the early game. More games, so I don't have to do any shopping unpacking, I suppose. Let's get rid of some of the games that I've already done before, so I don't end up with memory problems. We've done Sassy. Yeah, we've done those. Well, we've done those. Okay. We've done all those. We just keep the stage 2 Heartseed and the stage 6s. Alright, looks like Kid's going to pick off this mill for free. Heartseed won't be able to punish that. Kid is probably in a favourable position here. He got better early game trades, got up to 8 farms quicker, managed to pick off a 360 food there. Now Heartseed going for ferrets. This is a very interesting choice. When you've seen nothing but tier 1, I guess he's seen the machine guns? So I guess there's some logic to it. And he's selling the mill. Is he going to go for a 1 base all in? Or is he trying to... He's going for a ninja here. Is it a ninja? He might actually just think he's got a better chance of holding this mill than holding this mill. Because it's easier to wire up this choke point here than it is to put wire over here. Okay, the balloon going down to give him some high ground vision. Again, though, between the balloon and the ferrets, Heartseed's going to struggle with dealing with mass tier 1. Kid coming in before both ferrets are up and before the balloon is up is going to instantly gun down the balloon, or there might actually have been a cell there. Manages to pick off a ferret. He's not able to get behind the wire in time. If you're going to all in, I don't think ferret is the way to go. Like, all in with falcons, extra tier 1. Ideally, you all in with a tier 3. Like, maybe he could have got a badger out and all in there. I don't think you can all... I don't think a ferret is a good unit to all in on. Especially against pure tier 1. Like, if Kid was really heavily reliant on the machine guns, then maybe. Or if he was trying to get an arty going, then maybe, but... Like, the machine gun was basically an afterthought. I mean, Heartseed doesn't have MGs, so he couldn't have started with them. Now the Kid's just coming in, able to pick off Heartseed's army. Kid's doing really well in this tournament, I think. Like, he's got some wins over some big players. He's taken quite a lot of points. Quite a lot of lives. Okay, same deck from the Kid, same deck from Heartseed. Is it? Yeah. I wonder if maybe he could have gone all in on the artillery last game. Probably not. Probably would have just got rushed down, but maybe if it came up, he'd have a chance to take a really good engagement. They could eco up behind. Oh, they don't have to mirror decks in this. That's why the decks aren't the same. Okay, Heartseed looks like he wants to attack here. I don't know if this is favourable engagement. In fact, it's pretty much definitely not. He doesn't really have a much bigger army. He comes in at a strange angle. The kid's able to clear up. And Heartseed still hasn't expanded. This would actually be a good time for him to be going ferrets, because he can poke from this hill over here. And it's actually going to be kind of difficult for Kid to push up, because some of his units will get slowed down by the water. Plus he's going to have to go into the valley and then up the hill. Like, this would actually be a good ferret position. Shame that he didn't go for it this time. Especially now that the Kid is starting to set up these forward machine guns. Heartseed goes for the engagement here, but rushes his lizards through a very tiny choke point and then tries to retreat against the Kid's lizards, which were able to completely bypass Heartseed's army and get right onto his squishy back line. I think this is probably GG. Kid has taken 2 very good engagements while he's been 3 farms ahead on eco. It is going to be next to impossible for Heartseed to win from here, I think. You know, I don't think we've had a single 9-unit game where we've actually seen all 9 units come out. And the Kid was basically just putting that machine gun down as bait there. I can't believe this is a time Heartseed decides to not go for ferrets. And he still hasn't ecoed up either. Right. He's about to hit the 5-minute mark. These farms are going to fallow. And then Kid is just going to be so far ahead. Okay, he's managed to wire up somewhat. That gives him some breathing room. Now, he needs to go either... This is actually a position you can all-in ferret from. Is he going to go for the arty? I don't know if that's a great idea, but he needs to do something big. There's the arty. I don't think the arty hits the mill. It almost definitely doesn't. It will hit these machine guns, but Snake Ferret is coming out behind this, so Kid should probably actually have a pretty decent time of dealing with this. Maybe with ferrets he could have poked his way back into the game from behind this wire, but I mean the ferret's coming out before the arty's even built. It also helps get them it also gets 2 pieces of wire. And now Kid's just rushing this arty. Right, he's not taking this fight brilliantly, but he doesn't really need to. Heartseed loses a life. And Kid gets another double. Now, was one of these replays I just got sent the next Heartseed game. We got Kerper, Lilith, Stage 4. No more Heartseed though. Okay. So now we go to Kerper and Lilith again for their Stage 3 games. Now Kerper, I believe, is at full life. Yep. Oh, wait, we can upgrade the boss. It is Raton, I believe. And they have to choose between 2 decks. They've got the Mole Cam Wire or the Lizard Snake Wolf Machine Gun, and they have to mirror match. The kid's been doing really well in this tourney. Well, sometimes you have good tournaments, sometimes you have bad tournaments. It's just the way it goes. Alright, and we got 5-farm lizard, 5-farm double lizard against 4-farm double lizard, so Kerper has the advantage right now. He should be able to hold. In fact, with the Warren tanking, he actually has a significant advantage. Kerper using his holy powers to make his opponents play terribly again. His special ability. Now he's up on 8 farms with a bigger army. It's a pretty good position to be in. And Daffy was apparently AFK, as Kerper is able to come in while his opponent Raton was standing about 2 feet away with his entire army, and Kerper's still able to come in and just pick off a fucking farm. Do you see what I mean? Kerper has the ability to make his opponents play worse, and Daffy is just standing there again. I don't know if he was having like troubles or something, but at least his lizards were in position this time. Okay, so Kerper expanding, has doubled the army. It's able to push in, get 2 farms, and not quite get a warren. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Daffy there. He fell asleep at the wheel. And that means Kerper goes on to Epicosity with all 4 lives intact. Okay, so here you have to choose between Squirrel and all the tier 3s. Both players taking Boar, Wolf, Badger, but Epicosity going for Owl and Kerper going for the Fox. We haven't seen a lot of Foxes come out. They've also changed colours, so Kerper is now the yellow instead of the blue, which is probably going to confuse me at some point. I mean, this is not the first time Kerper has magooed his way through a tournament. I mean, Kerper is actually a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he has this weird habit of overperforming massively in tournaments and just coming through really, just getting like really good map gen or really good unit matchups, or his opponents just make these like really weird, unusual mistakes. It is genuinely quite odd. I mean, well, I mean, I can say now, because Kerper is guaranteed to go on to the next stage. I've already played my games with Kerper. I already know if his luck holds up or not. So we'll I imagine those will probably be on Tandraco's stream. I've sent in a lot of replays at the moment and not a lot of them have been cast, so I imagine those will be coming up soon. Okay, so Kerper, I mean, both players just going up to 16 farms, no one pushing, no one attacking. Kerper gets a scout off on this Badger. And responds with his own. Surprised neither player is going for Wolf first. That is usually the way you do it in multi-tier 3 decks, just because it really helps to have the Wolf buff out the other tier 3s. But he's getting the Wolf down pretty early anyway. Though with this double tier 3 plus a mill with a farm on it, he is leaving himself open to a squirrel push. And Epicosity is coming in. These are a lot of squirrels. Okay, sells the Wolf. The Badger is building. Kerper is so behind an army right now. He basically just has to give up this mill, painful as it is. Okay, the mill does go down, but it looks like Kerper is going to be able to clear up the squirrels. Oh, the second mill goes down as well. Kerper down to just 8 farms, but this Badger is not far behind. And if there's vaguely even squirrel numbers with a badger, Kerper can just walk all over. Okay. Kerper should probably be attacking. Yep, looks like that's what he's going to do. And Kerper is going to be taking the fight in a good position. He gets some rev up on the mill. Epicosti is quite out far from his reinforcements. The badger's getting plenty of good damage done. It's still at a healthy amount. No pigeons to keep it healed. But it's at full rev. With plenty of support. And now Epicosti's lost his farm as well. Does Kerper keep pushing? I think he's committed now. Okay, the badger does go down. And Epicosti still has a high squirrel count. Kerper needs to go back and sell the badger. Is he going to try and sell the squirrel warrens to get another badger out? No. No, he thinks about it. Okay. He probably should have pulled back and healed his badger up, but I don't think it was a terrible decision. Now he's fighting in a bit of an awkward position here, and he doesn't want to be retreating like this. You never want to be. You basically never want to retreat in Tooth and Tail. I mean, it looks bad for Kerper here. Epicosti just has so many more squirrels. Like, Kerper doesn't really have a trump card to pull. And it looks like Kerper's finally going to lose a life. Okay, the Kerper curse doesn't strike Epicosti in game 1. Will it strike in game 2? He needed to take the fight from behind the mill rather than from in front of it. That would have helped a lot. Get that mill tanking going. But he couldn't do that from where he was positioned. Okay, so pretty even map. Should be 2 mils, 2 mils. Kerper definitely has easier access to 3rd and 4th though, but they're not outrageously close to him, so you know, I think it's mostly fair. Well, Epi has a very, this is a very sort of specialist deck, the multi-tier 3 decks, and Epi has been practicing a lot with them. It's the type of deck where 1 or 2 mistakes, you need to go in knowing what you're doing, because mistakes matter a lot. Okay. No pushing yet, but there is a tier 3 down. A boar this time. No wolf first again, which means Epicosty probably doesn't expect the game to last long enough for the wolf buff to take effect. Boar is supply blocked, and Kerper has got his own down. It's still going to be decently far behind though. And he never scouted Epics. Looks like he'll get in there now. But it's probably a bit too late. And Kerper does have a slight eco advantage. And his boar isn't supply blocked. But still, there's like 30 seconds worth of time for that boar. And there's no real counter to it. Epic taking these mills so he can't get base raced. And then the boar just needs to get over here and do some real damage before Kerper's boar gets out, which should be doable. Kerper will have slightly more squirrels, plus the defender's advantage. If Kerper was actually able to move in now and pick off these squirrels... Okay, he's going to pick off one. The boar is kind of slow moving. Kerper's boar is actually going to get out in time. Nearly. Okay, it's up. That surprises me. Still, the boar is able to get 3 warrens and a farm. But now it's a boar v boar, and Epic's boar has a lot less support. Oh, Epic's boar is going to get caught up. Doesn't get his boar bomb off. Okay, boars trade. Kerper's get a bit of extra damage done. Both boars are immediately rebuilding. Kerper's now got a badger going as well. Epic trying to get onto his 3rd mill. I think Kerper has this. Like, this boar isn't going to get over here very quickly. And if Kerper's going to get up to his boar badger, and having multiple tier 3s is such a huge advantage. The badger's going to be so good at gunning down the boar. The boar is already up for both players. Epicosity has also put a lot of food onto this mill. Okay, there is more. There are more squirrels for Epicosity, but they're not able to catch up to the badger and burst it down. Alright, Kerper sells his boar. Epicosity hasn't sold his. What? Is Epicosity not holding this position? He should. He needs to. I don't think he can afford to just give this up. Like, he's put so much food into it. Or is he trying to go for... He's trying to bait Kerper in so he can come around the back? He is. He's going to lose a mill. Will it work? Maybe if he gets the badger. The badger is kind of trapped right now. Oh, the badger's getting away. 2 HP. The badger gets away. Okay, the badger doesn't get away. This mill survives on a microscopic amount of HP, and Epic has a boar coming up. His 3rd time going to be the charm. Kerper sells his badger. He's down to just squirrels. He's trying to go for a base race, but it's completely seen by Epicosity. Like, the squirrel count is completely even. It's just Epicosity also has a boar, which is very good at killing squirrels. Like, I don't really see how Kerpa wins this. Epicosity is immune to the Kerpa curse. I think Badger, I mean, how long has it been? I think Badger probably would have been up. I think this is GG here. Oh, an Epicosity. Finally put some scars on Kerpa. Now, if only Big Pimpintosh can beat him twice, all will be good. Alright, what's our next game? It's Lilith, isn't it? Stage 3 Lilith. And she's at 4 lives as well, isn't she? Yes. Alright, we got Lizard, Snake, Wolf, Machine Gun. The mirror match. Okay, 4 farm double lizards for both players. I think this was unscouted by both players as well. They both just happened to go for it. Lilith can't 2-0 Raton, because if Lilith wins 1 game, then she moves on. Raton can 2-0 Lilith, but that's the exact opposite of what you said. Okay, so Lilith is going to get up to 8 farms slightly faster. Okay. So the mill spread on this map is actually fairly interesting. You got this one off to the side, which, I mean, would be a good ninja mill, but both players have lizards, so they can easily pick it off. Am I going to need to continue talking about this, or is Lilith just going to win here? No, okay. Oh, might. If she turns around. Yeah. Daffy really overextended there on that chase. Daffy is way behind now. Especially since Lilith has got a mill. Speaking of mills, You've got this tight box here, which is going to make it hard for Daffy. I mean, I guess whoever takes one of these two mills basically shuts out the other. But because these mills are all so close together, they're both very susceptible to snake poke. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Now Lilith is going up to 18 lizards, which will give her an advantage. But if Daffy can just put down a machine gun, he should be fine. Then he can hold this forward position. Put down a machine gun and he'll be fine. That's a farm. It's not exactly a machine gun. You can see how you might get confused. Okay, he puts down the machine gun really far forward, right in front of Lilith's view, and is actually going to be able to hold long enough for it to get up, so shows what I know. Okay, now Daffy is still behind here. He has one less warren and one less farm, but I think it's one fewer. Both players trying to use this choke point at the same time. Okay, who's going to tech up first? Who's going to go for snake or wolf? Not entirely sure if it's worth trying to go wolf mass lizard, but I'd be interested in seeing it. Okay. Walk around the MG strat has been solved with another MG, but it's hard for Daffy to defend both at the same time. Oh, but that's some big value there. Daffy maybe pushing a bit too far. Well, no, get some big value there. I was worried for him that Lilith would just jump on his lizards while they were attacking the mill. Okay, these machine guns for Daffy are really paying for themselves. But he kind of overextends. Okay, and Daffy's managed to secure a third base, which is really going to help him in the long run. Still quite a while before these second mills start fallowing. And I'm still interested to see if anyone tries to go for this mill, because it's going to create an interesting conundrum. Because lizards can easily get over there and pick it off. Well, once they get past the 3 campfires that are guarding it. But that leaves you open to your opponent just walking in. But you've got a lot of machine guns, so maybe your opponent can't just walk in. So maybe you take your lizards and go chase down those lizards instead. Anyway, both players finally going for snakes. Now that they're close up together, there's a lot of machine guns down. Snake poke is going to become very useful. And Lilith does have hers out first. I don't really know what's going on right now, I'll be honest, but it looks like Daffy is winning. But now it looks like Lilith is winning. Couldn't really see what was happening there. The mill was kind of in the way, but Daffy is now way behind on army. Has left himself very open to the counterattack here. That's 3 farms down. Oh, and a snake on 1 HP. Okay, it does get killed. This mill should be fine for now, but it's not looking great. Okay, Daffy lost a lot of value there, but he's still got this mill. He's still comparable in eco, and he's been in this position before earlier on in the game, and it worked out. Lizards are very snowbally, so are snakes, so I think that snake is actually dead. Oh no, just survives. Oh, and Daffy has an extra mill to go for that I completely forgot about. Daffy is definitely under pressure here though. And he's losing the snake trades. And he's losing this fight as well, trying to move his army back so that it wasn't in range of the machine gun. Cost him an extra few seconds of DPS, and that's going to cost him his mill, as well as 7 farms. Now Daffy is so spread out. His defences are over here with his mill, but all his unit production is over here. So Lilith can just focus on one side or the other. And this looks like GG now as Lilith gets onto the Warrens. I forgot to update the boss name, but that's alright because we are going to Epicosty now anyway. Professional setup here. Okay. So, Lilith going for the fox, Epicosty going for the badger. We've not seen many people run the fox in this matchup, and even fewer have managed to actually get it out. But it should theoretically be good. Do I go run errands or do I watch more Tooth and Tail? I mean, if you've got Tooth and Tail, if you've got Twitch on your phone, then you can watch Tooth and Tail and run errands. But I'd recommend watching Tooth and Tail for now. You can always do errands. But Tooth and Tail is a fleeting experience. %80 win rate is pretty damn high. I mean, Melvin's currently sitting at 100, but he's only played 1 game, so I don't know if that really counts. Okay, Epic pushing in, has a lot more squirrels, but they're not all on the front lines yet. Epic might be able to just win here. Like, this is there's some serious snowball potential here. Lilith went for 3 farms extra, but only loses a Warren. Just about able to hold on due to this really long reinforcement path that Epic's units have to go through. Tanker's the only one to get past Epicosity unscathed at the moment. We'll see if Lilith can recreate the feat. The eco advantage he had is a good start. Was just able to hold on. But Epic has caught up pretty quickly. My teeth are starting to hurt. No, Colliery versus Epicosity is later on tonight. It's on the list. It's actually after this game, I think. But no, we haven't seen it yet. We will see it soon. Why do my teeth hurt so much? Okay. Wolf Boar against Just Boar. The boar hasn't been scouted. Neither has the wolf boar. No scouting. The wolf is supply blocked, but not for long. The boar should be coming up in time, especially if the wolf starts buffing it. Lilith's is quite ahead, but we saw in the Epic Carper game that you can get your boar out from quite a significant time deficit. Ooh, and Epic going for more tier 3s as Lilith goes for a sneaky mail up in the top. So Lilith still hasn't scouted any of these new tier 3s or the wolf. Epic hasn't scouted the boar or this mill or this mill. Do they have CVs in England? Oh, CVS. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, the wolf is up, the boar is up, and a bunch of badgers coming out behind it. The wolf should help a lot here, but Lilith does have quite a significant squirrel advantage for what it's worth. A dozen squirrels is nothing to sneeze at. Now Lilith going for fox. Is she going for owl? Going for her own wolf. But the wolf is so far behind now, because this wolf is going to be able to speed up these tier 3s. Lilith is really far ahead economically, but now it's just a matter of tempo. And the wolf is great for tempo. And Epic did actually just see that mill. He's not going to do anything about it because it's empty right now. Lilith going for so much tier 3. Wolf, fox, 3 owls. I don't know if triple owl is actually a good answer to boar, wolf, quadruple badger. Okay, the boar's dead, but here come the wolf buff badgers. And they are causing some serious ruckus. Mill down already. Lilith having to sell her owls. Oh, Lilith never scouted the badgers, did she? No, that explains why. It looks like Lilith is not going to get through unscathed after all. Tanker keeps his position as the only one to escape the epic scars. Oh wait, yeah, I skipped Collaroo because we did stage 3 Lilith, so... Why do my teeth hurt so much? Maybe I need to brush them. Alright, same decks from both players. Lilith with a kind of awkward position. Right in the centre of the map with no great mill access. Like, I guess this is technically blocked off, and this is technically blocked off, so it's technically a 3v3. In fact, okay, Epic can get down here to this mill, but only through this narrow choke point. It's a bit of an odd one. This map is a bit strange, but I think it is actually Lilith favoured in the end, despite how awkwardly spaced her mills are. And that could actually end up being a benefit, since Epicosity loves to go for badgers. Forcing the badger to drop its rev between mills might work out. Now Epicosity going for a 6-farm double. Did Lilith scout that? Because she's gone for... She hasn't, but she's gone for... Well, I guess she's at 8 farms anyway. No, she went for a 7-farm Squirrel Warren. So this rush isn't going to work from Epicosity. Like, this is going to get shut down hard. And Lilith is going to be just farming behind this. Nice and safe. Well, Lilith isn't going to be able to counter push, but Epic is still going to be behind an eco. Okay, I think has actually expanded down to this awkward mill. Like, that's quite easy for Lilith to attack. And look at this fox hidden way in the corner. Like, I don't think Epic is going to scout that ever. Like, that's such a long way for him to go. I think this might be the first fox we see come out. Does Lilith know about this mill? Lilith does. I don't really know if I'd call this a ninja mill. Like, it's pretty close to his main base. Like, he can get there. There's this path here through the water. It's not cut off for Epicosity. You can send tier 1s right here. This connects this mill to this mill. It's fine. It's awkward. Like, Epicosity either has to choose between defending here or defending here because of how long it is, and against a fox that's going to be a real problem, but he can defend it. Okay, did he ever see that fox? He didn't, but Lilith hasn't scouted the badger, the owl, so Epicosity has sort of blindly picked the right unit. He's selling his boar to get a wolf up, more anti-fox. Yeah, look, going for wolf boar, and he's going to get some fox value. Does Lilith hasn't actually scouted that she can climb up here. There's not too much she could do there anyway. She could get a few farms, but these farms are gonna. I mean, there's still some wheat left here. You can get some work done. Alright, the owl is up, and there's a lot of tier 1. Lilith is trying to get some boars up to counter this, but they're going to take a while. Fox is not good in these type of situations, but still, it's only one owl. Lilith should be able to hold off. Is losing some warrens. Oh, is she going to... Oh, Lilith is just focusing the owl. Gets it. What a snipe. Not often you see an owl army clash with a fox army and the owl army lose, but that was some good focus fire by Lilith. And now the fox has got huge damage. Epicossi is so far behind on eco. The wolf is up, buffing this one squirrel while the boar slowly plods behind. Epicossi has his own wolf up, but there's nothing to actually buff. The badger warren is right on the front line, so the badger ain't going to come out and save the day. The wolf gets sniped by Kasha, and Lilith goes through. On to meet Big Pimpintosh. Spoiler alert, we actually played today. Like half an hour before the stream went up. So I know how that went already. Okay, so now we go to Kolaru, who has actually managed to get to stage 4 with all his lives. Alright. Kolaru not going for wolf, going for fox instead. That is an interesting choice. Wolf is so useful in the tier 3 matchups because it cuts down the build time. And because, I mean, if you multiply a number, the wolf is basically a multiplier, so it's good to have big numbers to pump into that multiplier to get the biggest result, which means the wolf pairs up nicely with the tier 3s. But still, we've seen a lot of this game, a lot of these games haven't gone past 1 tier 3, so maybe Kolaru plans to win before the wolf becomes a factor. Did I stop talking at Colliery plans to win? I meant to say before we get to the stage, the multi-tier 3 stage. Otherwise, my statement makes no sense. Well, it makes sense, it's just not really adding much. No one attacking yet. I think it's the trend with these games is that you go to 16 farms before anything interesting happens. Still, sneaky ninja mill from Epicosity that Colliery can't really scout. But Colliery has 2 mills up here, so we'll be doing fine for eco. Should be, Epicosity should be able to expand here pretty easily. This one's a bit more of a reach thanks to this high ground. It's not impossible though, so it might be, it's like a 4.5 to 5 mil map. Oh, and Colliery just shy of scouting the base, which is a big deal. It is interesting to see how the meta for this game has developed, because in the first few games against Epicosity, a lot of players were taking artillery, and then at the casters would be talking about whether or not artillery is actually good and how it's hard countered by most of the tier 3s. This is a lot of value, by the way. Colliery just coming in while Epicosity was nowhere to be found, and it looks like Colliery might be getting through unscathed, because he just picked off an 8 farm mill with an even squirrel trade. Epicosity does have this ninja mill to keep him, you know, somewhat in the game, but he's still pretty far behind. Anyway, as I was saying, and then we were talking about how players should be running Fox. No one's running Fox, despite the fact that Fox is really good at picking off tier 3s, and its counter, the Owl, is much more of a non-issue with boars and badgers in play. And then suddenly, everyone's running Fox. Okay, Colliery massively loses that attack, so that probably evens things up. Epicosity has been greedy over here, so he's managing to stay in the game. Colliery going for a boar though, that's going to put him ahead if he gets up. And it's already building. It hasn't been scouted. Oh, and he's going the complete wrong way to scout it. This boar's almost done. And Epicosity's probably going to go for a tier 3 now, which is the last thing he wants. No, he's going for more squirrels. Okay. I don't think he's not got enough of a squirrel advantage to be able to gun down this boar. Here it comes. Epicosity squirrels kind of clumped up, which is exactly how the boar wants them to be. And Epicosity doesn't even fight it out. He knows Colliery's got that. Now Colliery goes through. Colliery has got all the way to stage 5 with his life, with all 4 lives, which I think ties him with the tanker for the furthest got. And I actually don't remember what the results of our games were, so maybe he got further. Who knows? Anyway, what's our next game? Lego Man. We're at Legoman versus Meek. I need to actually check these rules. Final boss must be beaten twice. The final boss cannot be skipped. Players cannot keep the same unit 2 games in a row. Non-badger tier 3s are banned. Meek currently sitting at a 50% win rate. Legoman with 2 lives. So it's a 2v2. Basically a best of 3 at this point. And then this guy has only got the 1. Alright, here we go. Lizard, ferret, skunk, snake, machine gun balloon against squirrel, mole, skunk, snake, wire balloon. Why do my teeth hurt so much? Probably because I don't brush them enough. Okay, so Meek has gone for his contain deck, which he's been running a lot in this tournament. Legoman trying to go mold. Legoman actually losing a lot of value on these moles, as he's putting them in range for the pigs to shoot them. And he's behind on eco this entire time. He's going to get to 8 farms about the same speed. Well, actually no, he's lost actually basically a farm worth of value just on getting the moles shot at. So Legoman is definitely behind right now. And there's some good mills here for potential contain, but Meek has expanded here, which is a much safer mill. The moles are probably going to be decent at pushing through an MG contain. No, moles are like disappointingly weak, even moving into machine guns, at least in my experience. Okay, both players just ecoing up. Meek far greedier. And Legoman's still going for this mole shenaniganry. And the camp... Oh my god, the machine gun gets it. That's probably GG right there. That is pretty devastating damage. Like, turrets do so much better against moles, didn't they? They got their health buff, didn't they? Alright, Meek up to 4 lizards pretty quickly. Is he going to try and push in? Yeah, the campfires do delay it a bit. Neither player going for any tier 3s, which is interesting. Meek going for the ninja mill with a full 8 farms on it. Now, Legoman with the moles will be able to destroy that pretty easily if he finds it. I don't know how many moles it takes to destroy a mill with 8 pigs on it. I think either 6 or 9 is what you're looking for. So that's a bit of a cost investment for Legoman, but since he can recoup the losses by selling the mole warrens, should be pretty. It's definitely going to be worthwhile him trying to do it. Okay, lizards coming around the water. I'm going to pick off a pig two lizards for a pig. Fair enough. This balloon is going to give a lot of vision, so that stuff like that probably doesn't happen again. Well, I don't know if he can push. Depends. Because losing the moles won't be a huge deficit to Legoman. Okay, these snakes attacking up the high ground are going to be pretty useful. Don't push the snake back into the gas. Legoman really mismicroed there. He pulled his snake through the skunk gas, which reset the timer. Okay, he's going to get the mill, but it's cost him 3 snakes at this point. He did get a snake in return. And a couple of lizards, so... You know, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And now here comes the ferret with the balloon vision. In a pretty good setup, actually. Okay, that ferret's definitely dead. The mill, not... The machine gun, not quite. Okay, these mass lizards are good at killing snakes, but there's a lot of skunk gas and a lot of wire to push through as well. Meek takes a worse end of that engagement, but he's got enough defenses to hold on while he rebuilds his army. Oh, these warrens can be hit by the ferrets. That's a free 120 food Legoman has just given. That's another 120. And now Meek has a serious eco advantage. 2 farms ahead with the campfire, that's 3. Plus he can start ecoing up here. It's going to be hard for Legoman to get the mill again. Especially with both of these balloons down. And now the pigs can actually get sniped. Speaking of sniping, this balloon is just gets up. Oh my god, that was so close. I thought that was going to die. What did I miss? You missed Colaru and Epicosity. Right, this high ground is awkward for both players. Like, this pathway with the... Like, this pattern with the 2 bits sticking out and the bit sticking in is how they used to set up medieval castles back in the day. Because it would funnel the enemy units into one point. But that's not quite working out. They didn't have sniper balloons and they couldn't shoot up hills quite as effectively, so... it's not working out quite the same. Balloons are going down for Meek, but Meek is so far ahead on eco that he can sustain the loss. Plus he has so many lizards, and Legoman has... Well, Legoman's basically cut his tier 1 entirely. I don't really know who won that snake trade. It looks like Legoman actually wants to push. Losing some tier 2s. He needs this many skunks to deal with the lizards, but I think the lizards just carry this for Meek at a certain point. Like, that's so many lizards. And their lizards are very good against both snakes and skunks, which is basically the entirety of Legoman's army at this point. Both players probably regretting not taking the artillery. He's attacking the side with 4 MGs so he can kill the MGs. You know, there is a method to the madness here. Unless you mean he should bring his army around here, but he shouldn't. That would get seen easily by the balloon vision, and Meek would be able to stop it so effectively. Okay, here we go again. The snake's trying to get in, but it's actually quite difficult with this many, because half of them want to go round so they can join in the fun. Plus, with the ferrets, balloons, and snakes all hitting in this area. Oh, snakes in the water! Snakes in the water! And is this going to be the push? A lot of lizards go down quite quickly, thanks to the skunk gas. But there's so much tier 2 behind this. Oh, but now it's just the ferrets, and it looks like Meek's commander might have died. Both players are supply blocked heavily. All the ferrets did die. Meek is actually completely supply blocked. Somehow he's only at 4 farms. I guess because he went up so quickly here, he's completely fallowed out. Okay, now Legoman's down to 1, so that makes more sense. Legoman needs to get this mill. Okay, that mill's dead. I genuinely don't know who wins at this point. Meek is in starvation. This campfire is basically impossible for him to hold, thanks to the balloon vision. Legoman has 2 farms here and a farm here he can use to delay starvation by just a bit. But this one still has plenty of food left on it. But Meek is going to be able to rebuild his army, and I don't know if Legoman can push on this mill again. The ferret, like, it's so hard to dodge ferret shots in water. But if Legoman goes over the water, then he's just running into lizards. But then maybe he wants to bait the lizards in so his skunks can start mass killing them. Okay, here we go. We got Meek going for the base race. Legoman, respond to something. Do, like, a rally. Well, he stopped. Why'd he surrender? What? You had an army. Why? Why surrender there? Like, you had an army and his lizards were all on the other side of the map. If you just pulled, maybe he was worried about he was probably worried about the base race, but why not at least try? Well, Legoman's down to 1 life. That's disappointing after such a close, tight game to just give up like that. Here we go. Squirrel, toad, pigeon, falcon, cam, badger against lizard, pigeon, falcon, cam, badger, mine. Both players really mixing up their decks. Neither one of them wants to go through that balloon snake World War One-esque type of warfare again. Maybe that's what he did. We will never know. Okay. So it's interesting that both players have gone for the badger this game after neither player went for it last game. And it's interesting that neither player has gone for snake either. I don't think there's any rule saying you can't, like, take the same units twice in a row. No. Oh, players cannot keep the same unit 2 games in a row. There is literally a rule that says that. Okay, so that makes sense. So what happened last game was their first choice decks. But that means now Lego Man has to take on... that explains why Meek went just Raw Lizard last game. So he could go Squirrel Toad this game when Lego Man is going Raw Lizard. Lego Man, is he going to get this far? He is. Okay, the lizards don't get out, but that was still decent value. Why no announcement? Because Gent did the announcement in the 21 Duels Discord. And I felt like it would be more annoying and helpful for me to message, for me to put an announcement in my Discord as well. Because then people would get 2 announcements about the same thing, since there's basically a 100% overlap. Yep, this guy, we're getting onto your games next. Okay, Lego Man is actually in a good position to try and go for a base race here. Like, this campfire is going to keep him alive. The pigs are actually going to do significant damage to the... Are these lizards not even going to get the kill? The lizards don't even get to kill the mill! Oh my god, this is going so much worse than I expected. Like, the mill's still alive! I thought that would go differently. I thought at the very least Lego Man would get this. Alright, well that's Lego Man dead then. Lego Man puts in a strong showing, but isn't able to beat Meek. And that takes us to our last game of the evening. This guy. And this could be our last game, since this guy is only on 1 life. He has to beat Meek twice without losing once. That's a big ask. What happened? Lego Man went for a base race and lost really badly. Like, the pigs killed all of his lizards. I mean, I thought it was a base race he'd probably win. But he didn't. Alright, here we go. Meek versus this guy who left just in time. Okay, and we got Squirrel Toad Falcon, Skunk Cam Snake against Squirrel Toad Snake, Wire Machine Gun Balloon. So, Lego is dead. Is Night Slayer going to be the only person who manages to make it through to Melvin? And will Melvin get to keep his 100% win rate? Those are the real questions. Okay, so both players have taken Squirrel Toad this game, so... Well, the unit selection only matters if this guy wins and manages to take it to game 2. But if it is, then we'll see Lizard versus Lizard, and this guy will have all of the AoE. Meek has taken Toad, Cam, and Skunk here, so he's going to be really weak against Lizards in the next game. In fact, Mika's taken most of, like, the core units. So if this guy can come out with a win here, then the second game is almost a gimme. Because what's Meek going to be left with? Mole Pigeon as his tier 1. Well, Lizard, Mole Pigeon, Ferrets, and the defences. So it's not going to go great for him. Okay, so at the moment it's a Squirrel, Toad, Snake from both players. This guy is actually kind of stuck. He doesn't have an easy expansion. It's kind of hard for Meek to attack these, so they should be relatively safe. But not a great map for this guy. And he's also taken a weaker deck, so he can take a stronger deck in game 2. Like this 4 tier 2 deck that Meek is running is very meta right now. Luke is trying to get some snake poke going. Gonna come through with his units. Does get a farm with the toad. Isn't microing his snakes at all, really. Really wanted to be focus firing his opponent's snakes, but decided against it. And I think Meek is able to counter push here pretty heavily. This guy is basically just got tier 1. Is this guy going to surrender? If this guy had surrendered there, I'd be really annoyed. I think this guy could have taken that fight. He had the bigger army. He engaged at the side. He just, for some reason, didn't micro his snakes. I'm kind of confused why. Okay, Lucas is going to try and push again, but I mean, Meek sees it coming this time, and it's pure tier 1 against skunks with some snake backup. I mean, there's a pretty decent toad hits. The skunks do go down. Lucas is able to get a good surround. I mean, honestly, this is pretty good. But he's not able to keep pushing. And with the snakes, he can't get any mill damage done. And that's a real problem, the fact that Meek still has this mill up, whereas this guy is pretty much committed to one base all in at this point. Okay, another farm goes down. There's only one skunk this time, and the Meek's commander wasn't at home, and this guy finally gets the base. This guy might actually be about to win here. The tier 2 just comes up and his commander went down, but he does still get a Warren. Okay, both players stuck on one base now. But Meek is stuck on one base with the tier 2. And having fewer units that are higher powered is going to matter a lot now. People are struggling to rebuild. I'm very surprised this guy didn't try and go for one of these mills, like at least once. What's he? He's going for a big runaround. I think maybe too big. Got a bit too ambitious there. Units took too much damage before the fight actually started. Don't surrender, Lucas. Don't. I can read it. I can read the character. He's gonna surrender soon. Okay, good. He was thinking about it. Okay, he's going for snakes again. Is he gonna be able to even get that out? I don't think he will. Plus he'll be starving. Both players are starving now, but it's easier for Meek to hold off. I question the wisdom of the tier 2 placement. Like, when you're this low on eco, why go for tier 2? I thought he was going to try and go for a mill. Alright, well, Meek takes the game. And Lucas, this guy, goes down to 0 lives. Still no one making it to Melvin. Amalu still has to fight Meek. There are 5 people due to fight me, and we'll see who gets up to them. I haven't been contacted by anyone else, so I guess they're either dead or lazy. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. I don't know how many games are... I mean, we're at the disqualification point for games, aren't we? So I don't think I'm giving anything away. Anyway, I am going to set up a game for Among Us. After a quick break. So, let me just put that up. And that is the end of the 21 Duels for now. I believe there is going to be another stream later on Tandor Draco's channel, but that will be on American time. I will probably try and get there, since I imagine a lot of those games will be mine, but I might not make it because it's going to be pretty late for me. Oh, in 45 minutes? Huh. Right, well, I'll see you there then. Which means I probably won't be playing Among Us for long. In fact, I'll probably just turn the stream off now and do it off stream so I can leave easier. Alright guys, see you on the Tandle stream. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Congrats to the bosses, Epicosty and the Kid, and Meek. All put in some big work. Took some lives. And congratulations to the challengers who made it through. Condolences to the ones who did not. Alright. Tomorrow's the PBC, so I'll see you then. Have a good night, everybody. Doodles.